right, I want to go ahead and I'm going to record this for us. Page is here. I want to share my screen. 1 second. What's going on here? There we go. See my screen? There we go. Move me to wherever you need. Move my screen. All right. So in my HTML folder that I made the other day, right? I want to make a new folder in here called First HTML Site. All right. You know what else I like to do? I'm going to put another link in here. Link to start over. All right. So I want to come in and I want to right click inside of my folder, and I'm going to create 2 new files. And originally I want to say they're text files, but I'm going to modify them. One of them is going to be called classroom.html. And the other one is going to be output.html. I don't know why that's coming up as, there we go. Chrome, always use this. There we go. I want to bring up my trusty W3 schools. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up both of these files in Notepad++. Notice how I selected both of them, and both of them came up in a tabbed format so I can flip back and forth between them. Right? Neighbors help neighbors. If I'm going a little bit too fast, you let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. But what I'm doing is for each one of these, I'm going to make my template. So I'm literally just going to kind of copy and paste this over. And then I'm going to modify it. I want to change my title for each one of these to that one is going to be classroom input, and this will be classroom Again, you can copy and paste. I don't mind if you copy and paste for this. It saves time. On your own, you need to be retyping everything. I get that you can copy and paste, but what good is that going to do you on an exam, right? I just copied and pasted that over. Yep. Into my open documents. And then you can see that I changed the title. We all remember what the title is for. I want to change my heading to something fitting. Welcome to the Classroom Project. program accepts input from a text box and a radio button and passes to the output.html document. I'm going to go to output, and I want to put something in here. Right? This is the classroom output. I want to save everything. All right. Got both my documents set up, just the very basics. Right? I'll slow down and wait on everybody. How about this? Let's put a link, just for the heck of it, link to output. Kind of get ourselves working. Link to classroom. Just a basic link in there. How do I put a link in? You tell me. The A tag. So let's come in here, right? And let's look up that anchor tag. Come on. The responsiveness isn't working very well for me. So, all right. So come down and we're going to look for links. There it is. And here it tells us what to do. All right. So I want to make a link up top, and I can put it in my. How to make a break? Yep. BR. Put a /BR. Right? And then I want to extend my paragraph down a little bit. And I want to type this one in. All right? So here's an example. Here's the syntax. Read the syntax. A href equals, quote, URL, quote, whatever text you want it to be, and the anchor tag. All right? So I want to type it in. A href equals. Now, all we need to do is put in a relative path. Since the file that I'm linking to is in the exact same folder that I'm in, all I need to do is put the file name. All right? If I were linking externally to another document, I would have to put an absolute path in. HTTP : / blah, 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 blah. Right? So all I need to do, I introduced a topic to you. I hope you got it. All I need to do is put, quote, what do we call it? Output .html, quote, angle bracket, go to output in my anchor tag. Now, before we go any further, let's test that. So, Control S, come back over, refresh, F5. There it is. I should be able to click on it, and there it is. It takes me over. Now, you do the same thing for the output. You come over to the output and mimic what we just did. Make it link back over to Classroom. I would not recommend saying go to output, though. You might want to change it accordingly. Yeah, absolutely. What's up? Play with it and see. You'll find out. Either it'll work or it'll fail. You'll find me doing that a lot. I want to push you to try it and fail. And once you failed, then I'll help you. Or once you succeeded, I won't help you. You got it? No problem? Click there. It takes you to the other one. The other one takes you. Oh, where is it there? It's not there. Did you hit refresh? You might have to refresh. If you change that, you're going to have to hit refresh on that second page. Oh, okay. So then you shift over to your browser and you hit F5, right? So I brought up, in my browser, I brought up my documents, right? So I went to the folder where I had it, and I brought them up in there. And then I hit F5 here, right? And that refreshes it. All right. So you should have done something like this. And this is going to say classroom.html. Go to Classroom. I want to hit Control S to save it in my text editor. Then I want to come over to my browser and I'm going to hit F5 or hit the refresh button. And now look at that. Now I'm going back and forth. Okay. Am I making you sick? Whoa. Questions? I revised our game plan. I forgot to put a submit button in, right? That's why we do pseudocode. That's why we plan our attack. It's really easy now to just go back and say, whoops, we forgot to put a submit button in there, right? Am I good? Am I good enough? Can I move on? Let's open this in something else. I don't like. Was that Chrome?
No, it's Firefox.
Was it? Yeah, Firefox. This wasn't saved for whatever reason. Classroom wasn't saved, but output was, right? So this is Classroom, and now you're gonna put like your anchor, your the other stuff in, the links. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do. Let's get the form going with a text box. How did I do it? Look on W3 Schools. How do I do it? That's how it works. So you've gone through it and you're like, I know what he's talking about, but I can't remember the element name. What is it? It's a form, all right? And we need a form that we can eventually put a button in, right? So let's go to W3 Schools. We're going to be on the classroom page, right? We'll be on the classroom page. We'll come in here and we'll scroll down until we find forms. Here's forms, right? And there's some different text and stuff that we have here. There's a radio button input, all the different things we're going to want, right? Some basics, right? And we're going to want to submit over. We're going to want to post over, okay? So we're going to have a couple different things. We need to know about this, because we're going to get to that in a few minutes, right? And in the beginning, though, we'll just kind of start up here with the basic form. Let's look at this form, right? We see what it looks like. Well, let's mimic it. You ready? So we'll come underneath, right here. Maybe we want to put a little break in there, by the way. And then I want to type this in. I'm going to say form action equals quote. So this is going to be where I'm going to send my information to. Where do I want to send my information to? Very good. I want to send it into output. I want to send it to output.html. Now I'm immediately going to put in a closing form so I don't forget. Kind of down below a little bit. It's going to all be all part of one big form. Right? If you read how this looks and you kind of pay attention, he says first name, break, and then they have the input underneath of that. All right? The name, that's the name of my variable. All right? The value is what I want to put into it by default. If I want, as they had like Mickey and Mouse there, which I'm surprised they weren't sued by Disney. Serious. If you want to put a default value in to kind of show up there, you can do that. Otherwise, you don't even have to put the value attribute in at all. So let's try putting this in. Let's see how it works. We're just going to stick with the basics right now. So we want to say, please enter your first name. We'll put a break in there. And then I want to say input type equals, and what is this? This is going to be a text box. And the name, we already decided on this. The name of the variable in which we're going to hold this is called fname. Very good. And if you want, you can put that value and you can put a default value in there. So we could try it out just to play, right? Say value equals enter name, like that. You want to make sure you put an equals in there. Hey, don't be afraid to call out when you see me make typos up here. Just say, hey, typo, line 13. Put a break in. Maybe we'll put a couple breaks in. Let's go ahead and insert that submit button as well. So right here is that submit button. Input type submit, value submit. So we'll say input type equals submit. Value equals, all right, what's going on with the value? What's going on with the value? What does that do? What do you think? It writes submit on my button. So I can change that to whatever I want. Click me, click here, go, whatever you want to put in there. It writes it onto that button. So I'll write click me. Then I'll end that. And then I end my form. All right. We're not quite done with this, but let's try it out. All right. I want to save everything. I want to come over to the classroom input, and I want to refresh it. And sure enough, there I go. I even have that default in there. Now, some JavaScript would clean some of this up. Okay? I want to erase that right there. I believe I want to erase that. Yes. Make sure you erase that / that I had in there. And just put output.html. It's kind of important. You want, whenever you click on it, it goes to it. It doesn't do anything, but it goes to it. All right? All right. You ready? So let's do this. We got first name. We're sending that over. Let's see if we can do a radio button to do that as well. See if you can figure out the radio button. So we can do the do you enjoy this class? See if you can massage the code appropriately to get a yes or a no into the name of a variable is going to be called answer 1. And if it's a yes, it puts that in. If it's a no, it puts the other one in. I don't know how this could go. Maybe we don't want a radio button. I'm very serious about that. I'm not sure. How'd you do? Is this what yours looked like? No. What'd you put in here for a value?
Yes. I put yes.
How about do like? Does that make sense? And then I would say yes here. You're going to put in the same name because we're only going to pass one of these. So it's okay that it's exactly the same. And then we'll say no there. We'll save it. If you don't like it, you can format it out a little bit more. Maybe you want to break those questions up a little bit more, so you put another break in there. All right. Last thing I want to do is up here at the top, I want to take and I'm going to put in, what did I want to put in? Oh, method. I want to put in method equals post. Hit save. Refresh. Now that information is getting over there, which is good. And by the way, hit F12 to bring all this up. You can actually view the code that comes in. So if we look at this, see how it runs down and it shows you everything? F12 will get you for that. Did you get it? Yeah. Got it? No problem. Xavier, how you doing? Good? That's been there all that time. You didn't even know what it was for. How many times have you accidentally hit that and been like, what the hell was that? How do I get rid of it? Now you can't wait to get it up.
So, quick question. From
Yeah.
the second line of code with that, so it has to be answer one.
You would always want to name it the same thing because they are grouped together.
Okay.
Now, if you want it to be a different, button where they can answer each, then you can change them differently.
Okay.
But they're going to group. That's a grouping, right? You good? Yep.
What did the method post do?
That's going to enable us to post to other document. But here's the deal. I'm not sure we can do that with just HTML. So we got to research it. And I'm almost out of time. Time flies. Look what time it is. So I need to research it because we don't have a server-side setup yet. So we're going to see, can we do this maybe with JavaScript? Can we do it with some built-in HTML? Can I do it with a little something else? And I'm out of time anyway, so I'm not going to sit here and fumble over it. But what I would like for you to do, you can take this home. You can run it on your own computer. There's nothing magical about these computers, right? This is all client-side stuff. You could actually send this to your phone, and it might render. That'd be kind of cool, huh? Email it to yourself and then say open and render on your phone. Send it to mom and dad and say, hey, look what I did today. Right? No special setup. And eventually we'll get to the point where you have a URL out there where you can send a URL. You can say, hey, mom, dad, check us out, and they can click around and do everything. Right? The whole world can see it. So we're going to pause here. And what we'll do is we've done everything except for we want to see if we can output, if we can capture this. So I know it's coming over, right? I know it's in the appropriate variables. Here's the deal. I'm teaching this class slightly different. I'm doing this full stack approach. Usually I do this with PHP, so I don't have to worry about it, right? So I don't know how to do it with anything else, so I'm going to do a little bit of research. I expect for you to do a little bit of research. We'll come back on Friday and we'll solve it. Or we won't, right? And we'll move on and we'll do something else, and we'll come back to it with some PHP later, right? Sound good? All right. How is the HTML going? Are you doing it? Are you making your own document like this and you're getting it, plugging that stuff in? Please do yourself a favor. Type it in. Think about it as you type it in. I'm making a heading. I don't mind if it's not word for word. Have fun with it. Change it as you go. Make goofy stuff. That's fine. But this is how we get this in. You're not going to be an expert on it. I get it. But later, when we're dealing with HTML or with PHP, for example, and I'm dynamically rendering a table. If you don't know how a table works in HTML in general in the first place, you're not going to be able to dynamically render it. When I say dynamically render, HTML, you render a table in HTML statically, you just put the information in. All your headings, first name, middle name, last name, address. And then you put in 5 people's worth of information. That's statically rendered. That's how you do it with HTML. PHP with a loop enables us to dynamically render that table dependent upon how many records are coming out of our database. That's why I want you to pay attention with this stuff. It's important, right? Got it? Understand? Questions? All right, I'll see you Friday. I'm going to hang out and play for a few minutes here, so let's see here. I got just a few. I probably owe you 7 minutes somewhere along the line. What's up, man? Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I want you to do.
Right. Like when I go to run, it doesn't give me the option how it does here to.
Right. So we're not really going to run these. We're going to render them in a browser. Notice how that says .txt. You need to resave that file as .html, and you might be able to run it at that point in time.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right. I will be taking that over, yes. Yeah. Are you in that class? Yeah. Why, you worried?
No, I'm just kidding.
You scared?
Good. Like my extra hour of sleep.
Well, we'll still be doing it because that's interferes with my classes, right? Is it Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Is it still gonna be online?
It'll be. I'll try to still do like a blended with you, and we'll make it blended all the way out to maybe we only meet for like exams or something like that. Because what time is the class technically? 10 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Yeah, see, I got class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the same time. So. 2 places at the same time. What do you think of that? Eh?